3 days after President Trump agreed to pull back U.S. troops from northern Syria, Turkey launched airstrikes, fired artillery, and began a ground offensive against U.S. allied Kurdish fighters it views as terrorists in the region. Minutes after Turkish jets began pounding the suspected positions of Syrian Kurdish forces, Turkey's president announced the offensive in a tweet, outlining a mission to prevent the creation of a terror corridor across Turkey's southern border and to bring peace to the region. President Trump released a statement saying the U.S. does not endorse the attacks and, quote, has made it clear to Turkey that this operation is a bad idea. But a senior advisor to Turkish President Erdogan said that President Trump and President Erdogan, quote, have reached an understanding over precisely what this operation is. And here's how President Trump defended a decision that many see as abandoning the Kurds.
The Kurds are fighting for their land, just so you understand. They're fighting for their land. And as somebody wrote in a very, very powerful article today, they didn't help us in the Second World War. They didn't help us with Normandy, as an example. In addition to that, we have spent tremendous amounts of money on helping the Kurds in terms of ammunition, in terms of weapons, in terms of money, in terms of pay. With all of that being said, we like the Kurds.
Mr. President, the Kurds helped the U.S. defeat ISIS, and by allowing this offensive, is it going to be more difficult in future times of need to develop alliances?
No, it won't be. It won't be at all. Alliances are very easy. But, you know, our alliances have taken advantage of us. If you look at how much money we spend on NATO and how much money countries from Europe, who are really a much bigger beneficiary than we are, okay? You know, they're there and we're here. We're many miles away. Our alliances, in many cases, have taken tremendous advantage of us. If you look at NATO, I got them to pay $100 billion more. Out of the 28 countries, 20 of them are delinquent. You know what the delinquent means? That's an old real estate term. He's delinquent with his rent. They're delinquent with their payment. They owe us a tremendous amount of money, and they never pay us back. They owe us hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. So, no, I don't look at it that way.
My God.
You know, Willie, there was such foolishness there. You could look at certain times at Mark Meadows' face in the background.
Yep.
And look at the humiliation he felt for being there with the president. Of course, he'll have to deny that if he's asked today, but he was feeling humiliation for being there when the president was saying that alliances were easy. Mark Meadows doesn't think what the Kurds did was easy. Mark Meadows doesn't think that the Kurds fighting to defeat ISIS was easy, sacrificing thousands of their lives, having their families blown to pieces to defeat ISIS. He said that the Kurds weren't at Normandy. It's such a foolish, idiotic statement that I know Mark Meadows and others have to be ashamed this morning to be affiliated with Donald Trump. They won't say it publicly, but they are. And the president, again, saying things there that just show he is unfit to be America's commander-in-chief.
Well, Mark Meadows will be in that snapshot of history yesterday, and he'll be in many others. He'll have to live with that. But when you listen to the president say that the Kurds weren't there for us storming the beaches of Normandy, your first instinct is to laugh at the absurdity of the comment until you get to how deadly serious that is. He's saying we're not supporting them. I don't have a good reason, so I'm going to say something about Normandy that I read on the internet yesterday. These people, the Kurds who fought alongside us, Admiral Stavridis, are dying right now as we speak. The latest tally is 16 Kurds have been killed as the Turks have moved across the border. There was some heartbreaking, infuriating reporting from Fox News, a national security correspondent yesterday there, Jennifer Griffin, talking to a special forces operator, an American, who said for the first time in his career he was ashamed because he fought side by side with the Kurds and now had to step aside and watch them die effectively because of a unilateral order given by the president.
Yeah, this is heartrending for anybody who has shed blood, who has deployed forward. I'm getting so many inputs from all around the military from exactly people like that, typically special forces, who develop these very personal bonds with those they fight with their translators. They see their families. They go have tea with them. they know how this hurts at a very personal level. And, let's kind of do this from the inside out. It's not only the betrayal of the Kurds, it is the way it is going to allow those embers on the floor of the forest fire that we thought were out to kind of reflash and go one level outside of that. To give Turkey a green light to invade a country is inviting a collision between, kind of ancient empires. This is the Ottoman Empire, the Turks, charging into what was once the Arab Caliphate, surrounded by the Persians. So this is Iran being very, very welcome into a big playing field. And then fourth and finally, the last point I want to make in terms of alliances are unbelievably hard. As the Supreme Allied Commander in NATO, I kind of orchestrated 28 NATO militaries and another 30 non-NATO allies in the war in Afghanistan. I mean, it's like 55 moving parts. Everyone's got a different agenda, yet in the end, the sum is so much greater than the whole of the parts. Alliances are hugely advantageous, but they're enormously difficult. They're easy to break, and a lesson like this will reverberate globally for a very long time. Last thought, think about the Korean War. What if, when things got tough on the Korean Peninsula in the 50s, we just kind of said, I don't remember seeing a Korean destroyer there at D-Day. Let's get out of here. What would the Korean Peninsula look like right now? It would be a totalitarian regime aligned completely with China and Russia. Instead, in South Korea, we have the 15th largest economy in the world and a vibrant democracy. Not good to cut and run from your allies.
Looking forward, Admiral, this decision, it helps the Iranians, it helps ISIS, it strengthens Vladimir Putin. Doesn't this decision, unilateral decision by the President of the United States to abandon our allies, who fought with us not only against ISIS but also during the Iraq War, does this not strengthen our enemies throughout the region and actually, like you said, give ISIS a foothold to rebuild?
It absolutely does, Joe. And there are, by all intelligence reports, 20 to 30,000 ISIS fighters who simply melted away as we took away their territory. And that was a good thing, began under the Obama administration, concluded under the Trump administration, a good example of what we can do leveraging relatively small numbers of troops here. When I commanded the Afghan mission, we had 150,000 troops there. We're down to less than 1,000 troops in Syria, but they're having real impact. Pulling them out will absolutely allow the reforming of that mass of Islamic State fighters, especially as the guards from the jails, where the hardcore ones are held, bleed away to the north to meet the Turks. What's going to happen? That core that comes out of those prisons will reform those 20 to 25,000, and we're right back where we were 3 years ago.
Admiral, if you could stay with us, because coming up, we want to show you the president takes part in kind of a private ritual ceremony, recognition of bringing fallen soldiers home. And I don't really know how to put it, but we'll show it to you. It's pretty disturbing. He finds a way to sort of betray the trust of those moments. The cameras are not supposed to be there, but the president described it in a way that's chilling and disturbing. We'd like to get your reaction to that. Also, still ahead on Morning Joe.
The way I want to run my presidential campaign is I want to use it as a chance to talk about what's broken, about my plans to fix it.
I want to take that vision and, yes, take the plans. But that's not enough. It takes proven ability to get things done.
Elizabeth Warren says she's got a plan for that, and Joe Biden says that's not enough. We'll get an update on the state of the race with 3 top reporters covering the campaigns. You're watching Morning Joe. We'll be right back.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.